Hey, it's Chris Malashewski, and we've got another segment of It Depends Mortgage Edition. So we're just going to get right into it. Last week in Ottawa, they announced further mortgage lending rule changes coming into effect. But before we kind of get into that, I had the opportunity yesterday to meet with Calgary Real Estate Board's head economist and kind of went over some numbers. It was kind of really interesting on her thoughts. I feel that we're pretty much aligned with how we're thinking, so that's a great thing. I want to talk a little bit about the GDP over the last couple of years, 2014, 15, 16, and this year. Obviously, no surprise, 2014 was blockbuster, peak of the market, performed really well. 6% growth. Calgary was definitely one of the economic leaders of the country at the time. Then 2015 happened, we went into a tailspin there. Minus 3%, 2016, not much better improvement at negative 2%. This year we have had modest improvement at 2%, still below the national average of GDP growth of the major centers. So what does that mean? Are we out of the recession? Well, probably, possibly, maybe. I would say we're maybe out of it, but by no means are we on a huge incline to the peak of the markets of 2014 and 2007. This year we're going to look at the sales growth here. We started off and we rose steadily in the first two quarters there, and then towards coming into the third quarter, September 1st, things really dropped off. It was no different when I chatted with some mortgage reps about their pre-approvals. So, in real estate, we started to see inventory levels started to go up. We talked about that in our last two previous segments there. Mortgage lenders are starting to see pull away from the pre-approvals. So that's kind of keeping pace. We're in October right now, so we're coming into the last 2 months of the year, which predominantly start to taper off a little bit. Where does that leave us? Boom. Like I said, there's some changes happening. So what are the changes? Well, the stress test on conventional mortgages, 5% down, anything under 20%, it's in effect. Anything over 20%, they now are going to make you qualify as of January 1st at the 5-year conventional rate. Right now it stands at 4.89%, roughly around 5%. Also, a little bit more stricter measures on the loan-to-value measurement. Well, that's going to increase as well. So our debt service ratios are going to be a little bit more stringent on that. And then there's going to be restrictions on some of the lending arrangements. Add to that what's already in existence, a stress test on conventional mortgages, as I was chatting with, the changes on the tax of foreign ownership. I don't really consider that a big variable, but it has had some effect, and then the changes to the portfolio insurance. So where does that leave us? Well, let's go back to the sales growth in Calgary and the surrounding areas and see where that's going to play out. Chatting with the head economist yesterday, here's what she's thinking. Over the next 60 days, we're probably going to see sales start to go back up again. Anybody with 20% of that mindset is going to want to get maybe into the game, get ahead of it, and have their purchase and their possession date happen. And we're also going to probably see the inventory level start to drop off. Coming into 2018, it's probably going to be a little bit different story. Once those mortgage rules take effect, we're probably going to see sales levels drop off. We're not out of the clear, folks. This is not, things are tighter. The belt's tightened up. There may not be as many layoffs, but they're definitely not hiring. So we may start to see sales taper off again, in which case we'll see inventory levels go up. Now, if that doesn't play out over the next 60 days, we may see 2018 take hold a little bit sooner. That would mean that the sales levels will start to taper off, and they could taper off and continue on into 2018, and our inventory levels will start to move up. So stay tuned. The next 60 days could be really interesting in Calgary's market. As always, if you got any questions, reach out to me, 403-809-3523. Fire me a text, visit my website, viewcalgaryhousesforsale.com, or send me an email, chris@chrismatt.com. Look forward to hearing from you. Take care.